Yo, what is up, everyone? Hope the month of June has been treating you guys well. As you can see, I'm back with a video about the 49ers. Now that we're starting to get closer to the season, it seems like it's about that time to start making some Niner content here and there. Hold on, let me see, make sure this cell phone is kind of straight. All right, I think we're good. August 1st will be the first preseason game. Whether you pay attention to the preseason games or not, I most certainly will, because some NFL football is NFL football at the end of the day, and you have some of these guys that are trying to make their way into the 53-man roster. So I pay attention to it no matter what, because the football vibes are there regardless. In particular, as you can probably tell by the title of this video, I'm here to talk about Brandon Aiyuk and what currently he put out on TikTok this morning. Yeah, I kind of wanted to get into it. I guess this will be my first official video about the Niners ever since the end of that unfortunate Super Bowl loss that will forever keep my heart torn apart, at least until the Niners win one finally. But anyways, yeah, so as you probably know by now, because I'm late to the party, I can't upload when these things first come up because I work a regular job like everyone else. Brandon Aiyuk was on TikTok talking to Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels, the guy that was drafted by the Commanders, which Brandon Aiyuk did play with at Arizona State. I believe it was just for a season. Yeah, I think just for a season. So he's obviously friends with him, and he was FaceTiming him with, and Brandon Aiyuk said, and I quote, I might jack it up a little bit, it looks like they don't want me anymore, or something like that. They don't want me anymore is basically what he said. Us as just spectators of all this going on and of what the media is saying, it obviously seems like Brandon Aiyuk is directing that comment towards the 49ers. If you're a 49er fan and you haven't noticed all along because you've been living under a rock, Brandon Aiyuk throughout this offseason has been putting up some cryptic messages on social media, and honestly, it's kind of gotten to the point where it's like, I just believe that if you're going to share it, you might as well just like tell us what's going on instead of just leaving us scratching our heads, you know. When he did it the first time or the second time, it wasn't a big deal, but I don't know. I think this is probably the fourth, fifth, maybe sixth or seventh time he's done some sort of like cryptic message. Regardless, it's been a few times already this offseason, and I'm here to kind of like get into it just for a couple minutes. So bear with me. I'm going to give you my side of it and what I think of it and what could come of it. So, all right, Brandon Aiyuk at the end of the day is still under contract with the 49ers. He's under contract for this next upcoming season. So the 49ers pretty much have all the leverage, and even if the 49ers so choose to, they could even pick up his fifth-year option by basically franchise tagging him. So the 49ers have full control of this man's like destiny as far as being with the 49ers right now. But obviously the goal isn't to just forcefully make him play without getting the bag, because we all know Brandon Aiyuk wants to get paid now, because after a rookie has played out his third year, they are allowed to negotiate and talk business so they can get paid. So regardless, if they don't come to terms, the 49ers can just be like, well, whatever, you're just going to play, and that'll be that if we don't come to an agreement. Hopefully, Brandon Aiyuk, if that does happen, hopefully Brandon Aiyuk doesn't play upset. You know, I hopefully he just takes it as like, you know what, this may be my last ride, so I might as well make it worth it. So I don't expect that to happen. I expect Brandon Aiyuk to get paid. I think with the deadline looming in about 2.5 months, regardless, it'll get here. I think that'll put some pressure on things to get done. So what do I think of all this? Well, John Lynch isn't the type of guy who likes these contract talks out in social media. If you remember back when Bosa was getting paid, when those negotiations were happening, Nick Bosa wasn't posting a single thing about it. us as fans, the media, whatever, we were pretty clueless how things were going. At most, John Lynch was just saying, yeah, things are going well, we're working it out, blah, blah, blah. But Brandon Aiyuk was never posting, Nick Bosa was never posting anything back when Fred Warner, George Kittle, when those guys were getting paid, they were never making it a big deal on social media, trying to, put some pressure on the 49ers to get them paid and stuff like that. Obviously, now that we are loaded with superstars and everyone wants to get paid and extended and this and that, I understand Brandon Aiyuk is probably in a position where it may be a little bit more difficult for him to get paid where he wants to get paid. But this is just kind of where we're at. Yeah. So I think John Lynch is, I don't know whether he knows what's going on social media or not. I would imagine he comes across it in some shape or form just because people probably talk and tell him. So I can't imagine he's very happy about Brandon Aiyuk kind of doing this, and it probably starts to make you wonder as a GM, like, do I want a player that is going to cause drama, that's going to put this out on the media to stir the pot and honestly, quite frankly, attract unwanted attention that doesn't even benefit both parties at the end of the day, right? So I think at the end of the day, it's best if, Brandon could do whatever he wants. It's his social media page. If anything else as fans, it just gives us a clue. But I think as a fan, I think it's best if he just keeps it out of social media and just deals with it between him and whoever else is in charge of those negotiations, which I'm sure John Lynch is heavily involved in that. One of the things that has totally kind of put a wrench in these contract negotiations, these contract talks, was that Justin Jefferson deal, which kind of came out of nowhere with that crazy dollar amount. We all knew Justin Jefferson was going to get paid a lot of money. We all knew he was probably going to become the next number one highest paid wide receiver. No one was surprised about that happening. I think what people were caught off guard is when they actually stared at the dollar amount. Justin Jefferson came at $88.2 million for fully guaranteed, which puts a $36.2 million gap between him and the next highest paid wide receiver in the NFL, which is Tyreek Hill at 52.5, and then the third, A.J. Brown, at $51 million. Now, I don't know about you guys, but Tyreek Hill, to me, in my book, is easily, if he's like probably the best wide receiver in the league, if not easily top 2, top 3, right? Justin Jefferson, he is legit. He's great, and obviously he deserved the bag, but I don't think he's $36.2 million better than Tyreek Hill. You know what I mean? So the Vikings really had no business shattering the wide receiver market the way they did. They basically outbidded themselves. Yes, could they have made him the number one? Sure, but did it need to go to that height? I don't think so. They obviously gave Justin Jefferson a blank check and said, write whatever you want and we'll just give it to you. So Justin Jefferson, as of right now, if I'm not mistaken, is the highest paid NFL player that is not a quarterback. Which the player before him to hold that title, if I'm not mistaken, was Nick Bosa when Nick Bosa got paid the season prior. But Nick Bosa was legit the best in his position after that 2022 season. So, you can see why he became the number one, but you can make an argument that Justin Jefferson is not the best wide receiver in the league. Even if you think he is, do you think he's, like I said, $36.2 million better than Tyreek Hill or A.J. Brown or whatever? So, I'm sure Brandon Aiyuk saw that number, and this is just my guess. Maybe the Niners and Brandon Aiyuk were kind of coming to terms on a deal. And sure as heck, here comes Justin Jefferson, and Brandon Aiyuk is probably looking at that and saying, hey, I've outperformed Justin Jefferson in certain ways. I made it to the Super Bowl. I'm a big reason why I made it to the Super Bowl, this and that, X, Y, and Z. Is the lighting fine on this? I hope the lighting's fine on my camera. Anyways, so now Brandon Aiyuk, I wouldn't be surprised after that probably began asking for more. My thing with all this is I'm sure Brandon Aiyuk is aware of how loaded this 49er team really is. So hold on. There we go. I think the lighting's fine. Anyways, And I'm sure he realizes that Brock Purdy needs to get paid next season, which he will. So I'm not saying Brandon Aiyuk should take a team-friendly deal. I'm not saying that at all. But I think if he's thinking that he's going to get anywhere near Justin Jefferson, he might as well kind of forget about it, because I don't think this team is financially equipped, has enough cap space to get him close enough to Justin Jefferson and still be able to go and pay Brock Purdy in the next season and keep some of the other 49ers superstars long-term as much as possible. So we already know with Brock Purdy alone next season, there's probably going to be some shakeups with some of our star players. So, you know, that's what worries me. I think that's why I could see Brandon Aiyuk not being a Niner in the future, whether it's after this next season or they somehow get rid of him now, because maybe he's just going to end up asking for too much, whereas another team will be happy to give it to him. And good for that team. They will receive one of the best wide receivers in the league, which will make them better. But the 49ers are just not in a position to where they can pay him an absorbent amount of money, whether they think he's worth it or not. But I think I know they're trying to pay Brandon Aiyuk a lot of money, but it's obviously Brandon Aiyuk just isn't where he wants the Niners to be. And this is the point that I'm gonna make to that. I'm not saying take a team-friendly deal like I said about 40 seconds ago. But if you're Brandon Aiyuk, you have to determine what you value more. Do you want to get paid every single dollar possible, or do you want to sacrifice a little bit but remain with a team that has the greatest chance of winning a Super Bowl in the league aside from Kansas City or whoever, which is with the 49ers, and he can just stay put? So I think if he wants to get close to Justin Jefferson, it's probably going to come from a team that doesn't have great playoff potential, because other loaded rosters may not have the means to do that or are in the market to pay an absorbent amount of money for a top wide receiver. So, you see what I'm saying? And one of the things that I noticed in that video he posted was when he was talking to Jaden Daniels' reaction seemed like he was excited to hear what Brandon Aiyuk told him. If you listen to his reaction, he's like, I'm like, my boy, It kind of gives off this sense that, hey, could the Commanders be interested in picking up Brandon Aiyuk and he can rejoin with Jaden Daniels, some old college teammate? I don't know. It's possible, but if that were to happen, I mean, I could almost guarantee that Brandon Aiyuk's probably not going to be sniffing up a Lombardi trophy anytime soon, of that matter. So he has to see what he values more. Does he want to go win a Super Bowl, or does he want to get paid every single dollar possible? So I'm going to just kind of leave it at that. Hopefully these cryptic messages kind of come to an end. If not, Brandon, just tell us then. Just tell us. Spill the tea. Where are you in your contract negotiations? Give us the numbers. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I want him with the 49ers. I absolutely love him. He's been an absolute blessing, just a tremendous player. So I hope things work out in the end. And I honestly feel like they will. And this is just a lot of drama in the midst of all of it. But whatever. Let me know what you guys think about that. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Before I let you guys go, I wanted to let you know that I have a Whatnot account. If you don't know what Whatnot is, it's basically an app where people go and sell stuff live. I would say primarily sport cards. I sell sport cards on there. I'm pretty new at it. But if you click on the link down below and it's your first time signing up on the app, you will receive $15 for free to use on the app how you please. So come hang out with me, buy some cards, and I'll see you guys there. Thanks.